I'm Anishka. I'm 13 years old, and you have already experienced what I'm aspiring to experience in entrepreneurship. So I wanted to.
Sure.
I hope you can give me some advice because
I I hope I can. I'd love to. This is great chatting with you.
um yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I wanted to ask, what makes your company House this different from like other companies that sell interior
Sure.
designs?
Sure. So that's a great question to start with because as you'll see when you, I'm sure someday do start your own business and want to create something, anything that you launch in the market, one of the most important things is differentiation, right? So to tell you what a little bit about what we do, we're a home and lifestyle brand that offers coordinated decor and furnishing solutions for the millennial customer in India. For us, when you ask what is essentially different, you're absolutely right. Home furnishings is a very commoditized product. You get it at many stores across India. But there are three, four things that make us different from the rest. One is a focus on holistic design. So our products are not just about making homes look beautiful, but they are extremely functional and purposeful in nature. So, which means that, it's not just about making a beautiful looking cushion cover or a great looking bed sheet, but it's about really trying to see how that bed sheet can really add value to life. So for example, everything that we make is extremely user friendly, high on durability, and has a purpose that goes beyond just looking good. Our curtains, for example, are very easy to maintain. We offer coordinated stories of products so that customers don't need to go from shop to shop looking for products to make a room or a look together. And most importantly, we do all this at a very accessible price. A lot of brands out there offer this at very premium pricing, but what we do is make sure that we keep our, even while our margins are strong, we make sure that our product is available to the customer, that it is extremely affordable, and therefore we can, customers can constantly keep coming back. So to answer your question, it's high degree of functionality, great focus on affordability and accessibility for the customer, and convenience of being able to put an entire room look together. I hope that helps.
Yeah. So does it make it harder for your business if like you have to do all these extra things to make your business different so that you get more customers? Does it make it harder?
It see It's a good question because it is, I think that is the challenging, especially when you're doing what I do, which is a consumer brand where you are trying to create a product which is solving a problem for the customer. Your job is to do it better than what somebody else would do it, right? So it is a very, very difficult challenge because consumer tastes keep changing. There is an evolution of the market. You have to keep tracking what competition is doing. But I think what separates a good brand from just a product is whether you are able to offer that value and that plus to the customer. So we would not be doing our job if we didn't do that. So no matter how hard it is, I love it. But yes, it is a very big it's something that we have to work on every day and be mindful about every day.
So when you first started out, your company was small, right? And it must have grown over a period of time.
Sure.
So do you think how do you think it's different from when it was smaller? What did you improve and what was the process of making it bigger?
Sure. So it's so it depends upon, when you say big, there are various ways of defining that, right? One is obviously the kind of turnover you do or the number of people you have on your team. And for me, when I look at how my company has grown, a huge part of that is how am I being able to fulfill the promise that I started with. I've had years when I business has grown, it has also dropped down. My team has been a scale at the maximum. We were at about, I think, almost 100 people at one point. We're now actually much lesser. But what I'm very happy is that every year, with the business, maybe, of course, business has grown over the years and teams have become much stronger. What's most important is that we are becoming closer and closer to our objective, which is that we want to take a home and lifestyle brand from India to the rest of the world. We don't want to just keep this for India. And I think it's very important, and that's one of the most important things in an entrepreneur, is to constantly be aware what your actual mission of the company is, right? and to make sure even if you're growing it, you grow it mindfully. You don't just expand without keeping your focus on what your actual purpose for the business is. So it's taken us, it's been a journey of about good 6 to 7 years and lots of ups and downs. But I'm very happy that today where we are, I think we're really doing what we started off doing with.
So, what was the worst down that you've had till now, and like, how did you deal with it?
Uh, well, I had, so we've been doing this for about 8 years now. It was around middle of my journey. It was about 2015 when, I was supplying these products, bed sheets, everything to a lot of offline stores, right, to the department stores. And my vision of what my product should be was not really matching what they wanted. They wanted very lower price products, which were very mass in approach. And I was not, our focus is a lot on design, right? What I did, Anishka, was I actually pulled out of all those stores. So I was at about 80 stores at that time, with very large stores like Lifestyle, you may have heard about, Westside. Westside, I didn't supply the brand to, but we were working with them separately. But Lifestyle or Home Stop, you know of Shopper Stop, maybe you've heard of them. So, brands which are very big. And I had to pull out from all of them because I realized that what I was trying to create was not right for them, and vice versa. They were also not right for me. So imagine in 1 year going from like 80 stores to gradually in a couple of years not being in that channel at all. But can I be honest, it was one of the best decisions I made, because what we did after that was we really focused online and we started putting all our energy. And you will see, especially when you're a business that is in its early stages, it's very important to put your investment in the right area, because you don't have that much capital or that much to work with. So if you can focus your energies on high ROI areas, high investment, return areas, you will obviously be able to be more profitable and do a better job of growing the company. So that was a very difficult time for me. I almost thought I'm not going to be able to get through it, but it took some time, but we're very much out of it and now on a new phase of our journey. But thank you for asking me that question. It's good for me also to remember the things that I could have done better. I hope this is helping. Is this making sense to you? Is this
Oh,
helping?
this does make sense. It's up till now, even up till now, it's taught me a lot about business, because it's not, you might not think you will be able to do it, but I mean, you need to follow what you think is right, not like what you think can get you more. In the end, you can get customers doing
Yes.
whatever. Yeah.
But can I ask you a question so I understand you better a little bit? What kind of, you said you want to be an entrepreneur. What have you any idea? I mean, it's too early, you're too young yet, but any idea what kind of line or which kind of business you want to create? What is it right now? What's in your mind?
So I have a few ideas, and a lot of them are. It's hard to think of, because then you cancel out ideas because they're not possible, or like too much delivery
Sure.
charge and all that stuff. But one idea that I possibly could do would be to make a platform that gets online, like it gives people feedback within an hour, and for each 10 people that give you feedback, you have to pay a certain amount. So
Okay.
that's,
But what kind of feedback, on what areas would it give you? Like what kind of
so
feedback?
for people who want to work in the arts, like for writing, singing, dancing, it would give, you
Okay.
can upload it and it would give you feedback. That's,
Okay. Okay. Have you done something around this? Have you tried it?
so this is actually one of the things that we do in our course.
Sure.
I'm hoping to start it in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Okay, 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 super, super. Great, great. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to make this, but this is more a conversation. So I'm happy to, I would love to know more about you also. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So how do you think it must be hard? Must have been hard getting people to view your website. Do you think it just developed over a period of time, or did you do something to make it happen?
So again, a good question, because when you, especially when you run a consumer brand like what I do, there are two routes you can take, right? So you can do, which is what I told you before, where you supply to stores or which is either online or offline. So you can online, you can work with a Myntra or a Amazon, or you can start your own web store, right? To be honest, the web store in our channel is very, in our revenue channel, among our revenue channels, is very, very important. But it's an investment that we've made, and we've done it now for about 3 to 4 years, and it's still taking time to develop. But every year we are growing it year on year. You have to be very, very, and the good thing about digital marketing is you can really put your money and evaluate what is going right and what is going wrong. So we have the website is, if you make a website and you intend it to be a revenue channel for you, you have to put in the marketing money. Customers don't just walk across, because this is not like a physical store where you open a store and people, there will be organic footfall if it's in a high footfall area, right? But in a website, if you are not visible, if your SEO is not done, if your ads are not running, if you are not investing in social media, you don't have a strong strategy, customers will not come, A, because they don't know you, and even if they come, they will not find you credible. So we have had to really invest a lot of marketing money to make sure that, and initially of course the burn is very high, but slowly, and we have to watch that, what works for us. As we optimize our metrics, we become better at the numbers we are able to achieve. I hope that didn't get too technical for you.
No, that is actually going to be very useful, because the kind of company I want to run will
Yeah,
involve a lot of marketing, because people don't just visit websites. It's going to be at the bottom maybe of the search results, and yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
need
yeah.
marketing. Yeah.
The good thing is, see, with the website, you can really access everyone. In the sense, you have literally actually the world at your disposal, right? It's just first which geography or which customer you choose to target. But you have to go after them. Otherwise, you will end up with the wrong audience, or you will end up with no audience, both of which are very, very dangerous situations to be in. Yeah.
So, how did you think of the idea? Because it's hard for everyone to think of ideas for business. I think that's the number one thing we're not able to do. So,
Sure. So, I think when you are when you are an entrepreneur, you operate from two places. One is, a very a space that is determined by the market in which you operate, the context that you live in, right? And second is a very personal space. So I'll answer it both ways. When I started, things are very different from what they are today, right? So this was almost 15 years back, when retail was just starting in India. There were very few brands at that time, even though the home furnishing otherwise is a very common product, but there were very few brands except for the large players. Secondly, whenever I fortunately had the luxury of sometimes traveling, when I did go outside, and I would see that every time I would travel, I would look at a beautiful product and turn around and the label would say made in India. And I don't know, that really got to me, saying that, all these beautiful products are made in our country and supplied to all these European countries. And we are not being able to do that in a way that customers here can enjoy it. So when I started looking at the idea, I felt that there was a gap in the market, and number two, it came from a very personal space where I said I wanted to build an authentic brand out of India. If you really think, there are very few, even now, very few Indian brands that have made a mark, right? Um, and many of them supplied, and many of our factories supply to literally all companies all across, but still we don't have a brand. And even I have not got there yet. But my dream is that, I want to make it that big. So I think it's very important, when you choose a business idea, do it obviously because there's a market requirement, but make sure you're passionate enough about it, because if you don't believe in it yourself, even if it's a great idea, you will never be able to go through the trials that you will have to. I just love what I do. Otherwise, trust me, many times I would have just said I can't do this anymore. So yeah, one has to look at it from both lenses, from the market as well as your own personal ambition.
right, yeah. That that basically we need to find a need that we're passionate about in the market. Yeah.
Yeah, because Anishka, when you do a business, you make a plan. You call it a business plan, right? 90% of the time, things are not going to turn out that way. So you will say my revenue is going to be X amount. These are the market factors. Like, look at what's happening right now, right? We're all stuck at home. Nobody could have predicted this, right? It's such a difficult situation we're all in. So the if you don't have a bigger vision or you don't love what you do and it's not coming from a place that is really from inside, it sounds a bit spiritual, but it's true. You will never be able to push against those forces which sometimes work against you. Even if you're in a market that is, and you will never have that kind of zest for it. But even if it's a market that's a little crowded, but you really love what you do, I would say your energy will power you through. But if you just do something because it's the newest fad but you hate it, that's not going to work. Trust me.
So have people ever said that your idea is bad, or and made you not believe in your idea when you are passionate about it?
Um, you know, yes. I mean, I don't know if people may not have said that to me, obviously directly, but there is. I will say this, and I want to say this to you because you're in a very different situation. But when I started, a lot of women were not doing a business, and a lot of people used to be extremely. I don't want to say this to you because I don't want you to think like that at all. Because I want you to be. You should go out there and do as well as anybody in your, among the boys, girls, whoever does, right? But I did face those challenges where it was, I was looked down upon, and nobody thought I could, negotiate a deal, or I could really, be very firm with my team if I needed to be. But I think now things have become very different, and of course on the brand itself also, a lot of times when I pulled out of all these stores, right, a lot of people had many questions as to whether we could come back again, and I've also doubted myself, no doubt, but I just love my idea and I believe in it too much to give it up. So I'm not there yet, but I'm really going to make sure I get there. So yeah.
So yeah, I think the world has changed a lot since
Yes.
that time. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is why, I mean, I'm just telling you this so that you know that it used to be this way. But yeah, you should not let it. Absolutely, you're in a very different world, and you should make sure that that is not even a factor that you should consider. But you may come across different people, so make sure that you should just be able to really not bother about those or gender ever being a case in your journey. But anyway, I just thought I'll tell you about it because that did happen with me, unfortunately. Yeah.
So do you have like any final advice for any young entrepreneur who wants to become a entrepreneur?
Sure. Advice, only to say one which I told you, is that you really must believe in what you're doing, um, if you want to be able to see it to the end, because the plan will never turn out exactly like what you think. Things are very dynamic. And the three things I would say is that, which I've learned, is that everyone tells you to be a good entrepreneur, you need to be resourceful, or you need to be, you need to have the capital, or you need to have, I think the most important thing is to have three things, which is great degree of resilience, you know great degree of patience, and just complete belief in oneself no matter what the odds are. Obviously, see, resilience, because like I said, things will keep changing and you will have a roundabout, a cut, a curve constantly happening. You have to be able to navigate that, right? Things are not going to turn out the way you thought. Patience is because I see too many people being very quick about, they want their companies to suddenly become, the next best thing in 2 years. It doesn't happen that way. A lot of companies are built over many, many years. And of course, things are different now with technology companies, and, but even they are struggling to make money, right? So everybody has their own journey. And the third was that, yeah, I mean, you just got to stay the course. And which is why, if you love what you do and you really, really are passionate about it, even if things are hard, you will believe in yourself no matter what. So just pick on something that you want to do, be strong enough to go through the trials, and be patient to see it through to the end. I think those are the three things I would say to you. Yeah.
I think, of course, everyone comes up with the big dream of wanting to become become very famous business, or have earn a lot of money from the start. But like, if you really do love what you do, then you can just keep on doing it, and eventually it will become big. It will become.
And can I just say one more thing? Don't we don't have to be determined by what is anybody else's definition of success. I know of some companies who have a very small turnover, right? You would look at them and you may not even know about them, but the kind of work that they are doing is path breaking. These are social entrepreneurship companies who are working with the bottom of the pyramid. They are helping people in ways that my company probably never can. Now, when you look at them, their turnover may be what, half of what I do, but their impact is so high. So you have to understand your business, know where you want to take it, and respect it for where it goes. I have done that very bad thing, constantly comparing myself amongst my peers and saying, oh, X person is doing this, and it used to make me feel terrible about myself. But like I said, I have a smaller team now, right? I have probably maybe lesser places where I retail my products, but I'm far more proud of what I am doing today. And I know I'll get to the place I want to, but at least I'm doing what I want to do. So one has to be one has to respect one's own ambition and what we can create. You will not be like the next Ambani. You don't have to be that. You can be who you are and create an organization which is great, but it doesn't have to be the biggest or the largest. If it can, that's wonderful, but that's not the only way to run a business.
Even if it doesn't, you can keep on going, and yeah, because you love what you're doing, you can keep on. Yeah.
And you want to ultimately create value, and value is not just money, right? Value is a lot of things in life. It's about how you can help communities. It's how you can make your team, people who work with you, their lives better. Value is not just about how much money you make in a business. That's my ethos, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think we've crossed the time for this interview, but
Sure.
thank you so much. I think I'm much more confident about starting my own business, and I see more clearly. Like, so it was very informative. Thank you.
No. And if you think, we need to speak again as a follow-up, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to connect with you on mail. You've got my ID. Don't hesitate. Whenever you do start, even if it's a pilot and you want me to help out with it, I'm more than happy to. In fact, that's one more thing I would say to you. Whenever you're on that journey, make sure you become part of a community, okay? Because you are in a space. When I started, entrepreneurship was not even a word people said, because it was not considered a viable profession or something that people should do immediately out of college or even school. But it's great that now there is this lovely ecosystem of people, and a lot of people who are now there to help you in your journey. So I could be one of them. There must be a lot of people around you. So yeah, we are all there, and it's good you're coming from a different place. We can always be in touch if you need any help from me. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.